Good evening, everyone out there, out in YouTube land. My name is Jared, and this is my channel, Mazda P3K. This is going to be kind of more of a 5-minute fix video, but it's going to be how to remove and replace the engine coolant temperature sensor, also known as an ECT, in your 1995 Gulfstream Sunsport or the underlying vehicle, a 1994 Chevy P30 strip chassis. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so this particular P30, or this particular RV, has, if you've seen the one other video that should be floating around at this time, it has a big block 454 with a TBI, which means throttle body injected, which means it is fuel injected. It's not carbureted. It's kind of like a weird step between. It is computer controlled injection, but it's really set up carburetor-ish. It's a little bit different than working on other early 90s fuel injection systems. Anyway, our target is all the way down yonder next to the main rad hose right here. That is our engine coolant temperature sensor, and the reason why we are looking at that today is that on a fuel injected system, the ECT functions like a choke on a carbureted system. So based on engine temp, when things are cooler, it informs the ECU, the engine computer, make the mix more rich until things warm up, and help to lean it out by reporting engine temp to the engine computer. So if the resistance on this sensor is wrong, well, things don't work right. So this particular engine is running rich, and it's running pig rich. And this is before it goes to closed loop. So the O2 sensor does not factor in, not yet. And we know we had the timing right. So let me explain on that a little bit. Essentially, before you start chasing an ECT, you need to make sure that the timing on your engine is correct, because that can make it seem like it's running ultra lean or ultra rich. You should also check for vacuum leaks. That can cause an ultra rich condition, or a little rich, or sorry, lean, depending on the leak. We've already looked for vacuum leaks. We've already verified we have good timing. We're still running rich, so the next thing we're looking at is the ECT. Now, supposedly, the guy that we bought this from, he already replaced it. This is a Delphi, and I'm not sure if he actually replaced the ECT or if he replaced the electric fan sensor, which this vehicle also has. It's a 2-fan system. It has a mechanical fan right there that, you know, comes off of the crank and all that, well, off the water pump, excuse me. And then on the other side of the radiator and condenser, you have an electric fan. So I don't know if he switched the right thing, and when I did some ohm testing earlier, I didn't like what I was seeing with that sensor. So we got a replacement. We're going to throw it in, see what happens. So the hex size you got to fit there is a 3/4. This engine is basically all in SAE, so I'm sure there's a couple of 10 millimeters lurking around. Generally, that's how it works. So you're going to want to, if you're facing the front of the vehicle, you're going to want to pull this to the right, in this case. And also bear in mind, if you have not dropped the coolant level, there's a pretty good chance that as you loosen this, you're going to barf some coolant. If you're fine with that, okay. If you're not okay with that, you need to loosen some coolant or drain some coolant, then do this. In our case, this thing already has a coolant leak. I think it has already leaked down a bit. I don't think anything's going to come out when we take this loose. Our replacement part today comes to us courtesy of Advanced Auto Parts, or CarQuest, depending on where you are in the US. It is a WTC 1001. Make sure that you have a sensor, which is going to have 2 contacts inside of it, versus a sender, which is what informs your instrument cluster. So you can see we have 2 contacts. We got the bump to engage the lock. It's already got some pipe dope on it, so that hopefully this doesn't leak when you screw it in. Snug it up. If you ever get one of these that doesn't have dope on it, throw some on there. It'll prevent leaks. It really does work. So this is our part. I've got the other one loose, so I'm going to do the old switcheroo real quick like here. So if I am leaking out any coolant when I do this, it'll be minimal losses. Alright, got the new one in. As you can see, I've already got the connector back on it. We'll take a look at the one that came out in a minute. It kind of fell out of my hands and hit the deck. But I didn't lose any coolant. Like I said, the coolant level is lower in this one. It does have a leak I need to address. But at this point, we are good to go. You don't have to do an ECU reset or anything. You just crank it and then see what happens. Alrighty folks, that's going to do it for this 5-minute fix video where we replace the engine coolant temperature sensor in my brother's 1995 Gulfstream Sunsport RV, or you could say a 1994 Chevy P30 chassis. If this video helped you out, if it helped make your day keep moving, please like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, and do all the fun YouTube things. That helps to grow the channel. Please also leave a comment. I like to read them, I like to reply to them, and I like to learn from them. And lastly, remember guys, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. I'll see you guys next.